So guys, this is my weekly report for July 13th. First, I want to tell you a little bit of what I did this week. I went down the Delta every day and been chasing stripers. There's a lot of them in the system over by Rio Vista. I'm fishing all the flats over there, all the way north into Liberty. Liberty's got a little bit off color because I think of the high winds we've been having last week, but it should clear up here pretty soon. Caught a lot of stripers. Biggest one's probably only about 7 pounds, but there's a lot of schoolies around here. And we also caught a lot of bass, and the bass are moving into the current, where the water's got a little movement to it. But other things going on, besides that, is the biggest craze right now is going nuts is the bluefin tuna off our coast. You go outside the Golden Gate, you go about 25 to 45, 50 miles, and there's a lot of bluefin out there. There's a lot of guys that are been going out after them. Some of the guys at the store been going out, and they've been having very good success. We began slammed over at the shop with guys wanting reels and rods, and you got to have these special knots to hold these fish. You're talking fish that went from 30 to 150 pounds. And I was on the radio with Steve Carson this last Saturday, and he predicts that off our California coast that someone's going to land one around the 300-pound mark. There's a lot of guys coming in the store that bring their reels in with no line because they got spooled. Most of the reels, like a 30 wide, will hold probably about maybe 500 yards of a 100-pound test, and the way they're telling me that those things, you can't stop them. So there's a lot going on right now with that bluefin craze. I think these fish are always off our coast as nobody went after them. And actually, James Smith is going to do a Cal Dawn 2 and stay overnight and try jigging at night like they do in San Diego. And I know he's going to probably do pretty well because, these are bluefin. They can adjust to the water temps a little better than your albacore. So, they're around here and they're feeding because a lot of guys that have gone out for their first time are hooking up. So, it's a long ways to go out there. Just make sure you got enough fuel capacity so you can get back. We'll be doing videos here pretty soon on the bluefin outside the Golden Gate. Rock fishing. I went rock fishing last week. And at 300 and deeper, we were out past the Farallon Islands, and we had an awesome day. There was 5 of us on the boat, but one was an 8-year-old, Kendricks, and he caught 2 of his biggest lings ever, probably around 15, 20 pounds. He was using an electric reel. If he didn't have electric reel, he couldn't bring those fish in. But he did a good job. He caught his limit of rockfish. He caught his lings. We had our 10 lings for the boat, and they were probably anywhere from 10 to over 20, maybe 24 pounds. And we also had our 50 rockfish, which included a lot of the vermilions. And some of them fish were pushing that 8-pound range. So we had one heck of a day out there. It was a lot of fun. But don't forget, I think it's July 16th. It'll open up on all depths. So when the shallow rock fishing opens on the 16th of July, the deep water one is also going to stay open. So it's a long boat ride out. It was an hour and a half. It took us out of Bodega Bay to get there. So you got a 3-hour drive, hour and a half out, hour and a half back. But the fishing is unbelievable. So, that's something that, you guys could do right now. And there's still halibut in the bay. If you could get out to the North Bar, there's a lot of fish out there, and they're bigger size. They're probably in that 10 to 30-pound range versus, the 22 inches in the bay. But it's really good out there when weather permits. They're still catching fish inside the bay. A friend of mine went today Tim, and he caught a 30-pounder around Angel Island. But the other fish that, they got their limit, 4 fish. The other 3 were, just keeper size. And they didn't get any stripers. But, I hear that they're still catching some in the bay and still catching stripers. So, that's something that you can do. But if the weather permits, you need to go out to the North Bar. So other things happening, there's still a lot of stripers in our river system. A friend of mine called me the other day and said, hey, I'm over here in Sacramento River, come on down. Fish are busting all over the place. So I think if you went down there in the evenings and you threw jerk baits, you could probably catch some stripers. There's still a lot of them in the system. The shad are kind of coming to an end. It slowed down a lot. There's people that are fishing the Middle American, which was red hot a couple weeks ago, and now it's like 1 or 2 fish. So a lot of those shad have already moved up top, so they're like from sunrise on up. So if you want to catch shad, you got to go up high. Other things going on in our area, this is summertime, is kokanee. And the kokanee fishing is, it kind of slowed down up at Stampede. You could still catch a limit, but it might take you to around 1 or 2 o'clock. Fish are in about 60-65 feet of water, but you could still get them. Boulder's Bar is still pretty decent. Pardee's decent. And New Melones is, a friend of mine went today, got his limit, 2 guys, so they had their 10 fish, and the biggest one was 19 inches. They're big. I went last week and only caught 5. The water temperature was like 85 degrees. And I asked John, I said, hey, what was the water temp today? He said it was 80. So it must be getting a little water in there, cooling down. But that lake's been kind of like a hit and miss. When you go there and you get them, you're going to get some really nice fish. And remember, Bullish Bar and Pardee are 10 fish limits at those 2 lakes around here. And other things, trout fishing, Big Nate still been sneaking up to Comanche and getting them. He's been in Pardee. He'll get his limits of kokanee, and then he'll go chase the browns. And he's been doing really good on the browns out there. Bass fishing in the Delta, the fish, this has been a really strange year for bass in the Delta. A lot of guys have been having a lot of trouble. And, it's kind of a weird year with all this water, but the bite's still there. It's starting to improve a little bit. I'm starting to see fry that are maybe about 1 inch long, and I've been doing pretty good this year, considering I went back to waters that I haven't been in 15 years, and we're picking up a lot of fish back in those areas where during the drought I couldn't even get back there. But the bass fishing continues to be good. I did good this week. Had, no big ones, maybe 4 pounds the biggest, but I had good size. I had good average of like 3 to 4 pound fish. And I'm catching them all mostly on chatterbaits and flipping brush hogs. Berryessa has been pretty decent for bass. Paganelli, Don's been going up there. I think the thermocline last time I went a couple weeks ago was right around that 25 foot. There's a ton of bait up there, and Don was throwing topwater lures on points, catching them, and also getting them drop shot. Folsom Lake's been good for bass. I'm sure all the mother lode lakes and lakes like Shasta, Orville for bass is really good. The water hasn't been this high in these reservoirs for years, and those fish just moved up. It's going to be a heck of a fishery no matter what lakes you go up in the mother lode lakes, and also like Orville and Shasta. One of the things I want to get back to you guys about bluefin tuna is I talked to some 6-pack guys like Jay Lopes and Ricky Acosta. They're going to start doing trips out there. So instead of driving all the way to San Diego, you could hop on here locally, call those guys up, give them a call. You probably want to do it if you're interested to do it ASAP, because they're going to be booked. And Cal Don will also be doing those trips out there. So there'll probably be a lot of boats that are going to be going after those tuna. And every Saturday morning, if you're on your way out to your fishing grounds and you're in your truck still at 6:40, tune in on 11:40 a.m. California Sportsman's. I'm on the SEP show with Seps and Kent. And, you know, we talk about current things that are going in our area. So if you like the video, hit the like, please subscribe. It'll help my channel out a lot. And on the bottom right hand corner, click the comment. You can look at any of my 100 and something videos that I did. And you can ask me any questions and I'll get back to you in like 2 or 3 days. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.